iron in their soul. What's up, YouTube? This is your big brother King Jabez, back today with another very important message. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video, leave a comment, let me know what you think about my content. In addition to that, please feel free to follow me over on Instagram at The King Jabez, as well as my website, theironsoul.com. Whatever you decide to do, it will be greatly appreciated. Let's do some work. Today's video on this Saturday evening is entitled, You Are About to Get Rich. Your time of receiving your wealth, receiving an inheritance, not necessarily from family or your parents or blood family, but your inheritance from the Most High Himself. I'm going to say that with my chest. Your inheritance from the Most High Himself. You have to understand when talking about something like this. First of all, if you click on this video, you believe this is for you. Or you click the video because you are skeptical and you want to come over here and see if this is, excuse my language, bullcrap or not. That's what you're doing. So either you believe this is for you or you're over here as a scoffer. So if you are here as a scoffer, I think you can learn something today. And I want to challenge you to see the best for yourself and understand that attaining wealth and riches is something that can happen with the right plan, with God's power, and with using your time, your talent, and treasures the right way. So speaking of that, the ancient Hebrews referred to the wealth that comes from the Most High as a continual incoming influence or wealth from various people, from kings, from queens, which speaks of connection, which speaks of travel, which speaks of business, entrepreneurship. And it was a continual daily thing, right? So they were told to keep their gates. A blessing was to keep their gates open. And we're going to talk about, how it's possible to close those gates. Demonic forces want to close those gates and to bring you to a place of poverty, sickness, defeat, and discouragement. And what can happen is when we learn to keep those gates open, this is when you and I can truly achieve the wealth that is promised to us by the Most High Himself. Keeping your gates open daily is just a Hebrew way of saying you're on your grind. You know what I mean? And I'm on my grind. I'm going to be honest, big bro's on this grind. I was at the post office today, early today, taking care of some business. I'm in the gym 3 to 5 times a week. I read this day. I pray. I meditate. I upload content over here on YouTube. I upload content over on TikTok. And I'm just sharing a little bit about my life. But if you're clicking this, you're like big bro. I know some of you own your grind. I mean, I see you own your stuff. You're in the gym. You're at business. You're working. You're networking. You're doing what is necessary. And that's what it means to keep those gates open. We close the gates when we get discouraged. We close the gates when we connect with the wrong people. We close the gates when we begin to let pleasure become more important to us than prospering and progress. And so we have to learn to do something I have said for years on this platform now, on my channel. And I see other people saying this statement. I don't mind them using it. I think I was one of the first ones to use the statement. And that is, we are to put purpose over pleasure. And when we can put purpose over pleasure, you will prosper. You will accumulate the wealth over time that is necessary to go forward and to really be an influence in these last days. I say last days a lot because I believe we are in the last days, and there are so many characteristics of that. And one of those characteristics is that people will begin to become cruel toward others. And there's a lot of cruelty today. There's a lot of hatred. A lot of people are distracted with all types of sins and temptations. So if you are a person that can focus, you can set yourself apart from the rest and be positioned to receive your inheritance. In other words, you don't want to lose that with distraction. So I want to really challenge my audience at this point now, over the next 3 months, October, November, December, in 2023, focused. Going to 2024, focus. This message is for you if you are focused. If you are distracted, get in tune. Get on your game, my boy. Get on your game, my sis. Do what you got to do. This is a time to get focused. This is a time to remove distractions and to figure out what that may be for you. It's different for every person. So I think, going forward with this message, I want to really add some teeth to this. I'm going to take my time and really break this down. This may be about a 20-minute video. That's kind of where I'm leaning with this. I have several pages of notes. I'm going to speak from the heart as well as my notes, but I want to give you something solid on this Saturday evening. So, let's talk about it. Do you desire this? Do you desire to have a certain level of wealth and influence so that you can have a direct impact on this culture? Let's take some time to really break down what that means. We're not talking about having wealth and riches just for the sake of no purpose. Right? This is given to you if you have a purpose. This is given to you if you have a plan. So I will suggest that you even now do something that I have done. And I've already by faith made a list of what I would do once I receive a significant influence or level of wealth to get things done. I have a plan. So I've made a list and wrote down what I would do concrete once I receive my inheritance. And that's something you need to do. And so we're not just sitting back living in a fantasy world. You have a purpose, you have a plan, and it's something that's going to advance God's agenda. We're not talking about just wealth just for the sake of having it, but you're going to receive this through various means. One of those means could be a very generous donation or contribution to your work. If you are in business, if you are involved in sports, if you are an entrepreneur, whoever you may be, you're going to need some people who have influence that can help you. We're not saying giving you a handout, but I believe that one of the ways that there is a transfer of wealth is through a generous contribution from a friend who believes in you and who believes in what you got going on. Speakers receive this. Churches receive this. Athletes receive this. Businesses, individuals, models, influencers. There is somebody in secret who has the resources, who believes that you got it. So I will begin to challenge you now to begin to pray that down, to release that to you. Pray that your angels will help you. Begin to manifest that through secret time and meditation. Getting yourself aligned spiritually. Having an abundance mindset. We have to get rid of the lack mindset. So having an abundance mindset, get into a place where you believe that I am worthy of this. If you're sitting back thinking you're not worthy of this, then that's the problem in itself. I would say to add to that, yes, it is hard work, but hard work by itself isn't the only solution. There are people who work hard their entire life and never receive a significant amount of wealth and influence. So you could work hours. Big Bro has done it. I've worked as a school teacher for a couple of years. I worked in factories. I've done all type of stuff. I've worked with my hands. I've done work, doing music. So I've been around. Big Bro has been around the block. You know what I mean? So I've done all type of different jobs. And I know from experience that working hard isn't always necessarily the way to wealth. There's a very popular book online. I'm sure you have read or heard about it. Think and Get Rich. Right? And so there's a thinking process. There is a mindset that has to shift first in your mind and in your spirit before it can manifest in the natural. So I want to begin to challenge you to begin to think about this each day. Right? As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So as you begin to see yourself this way, you have to, in other words, begin to see it this way first and think before it can manifest. And we're not saying to live in a fantasy world. Yes, you still have to put in the hard work. You still have to grind each day. You still have to try and fail. So and so to add some more to this, that's going to be a long video, by the way. I'm going to be all over the place today with this one. Get a sip of the Celsius. You have to be willing to, if necessary, struggle for 3 to 5 years. If you have the courage, if you have the testicular fortitude to leave an establishment, leave a job, leave a 9-to-5 culture, there's a good chance that you may struggle for 3 to 5 years trying to find your feet if you're trying to get into this lane. And so you have to have enough mental toughness. Some people don't have it. Some people are meant to work a job their whole life, and that's fine. I'm not against you if that's you listening to this video. That's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. Some people work at a job, same job, 20, 30, 40 years. That's good for you. That's not what I'm going to do. So you have to have enough courage and also skill and ability and wisdom. That's why I read all the time. I reflect. Leaders are readers. And so if we're trying to do this, we got to be learning each day. We have to constantly feed our mind, fill our mind with new content. That's why you're watching videos like this, other videos, constantly gaining valuable information that's going to help you go forward. So when it comes to fitness, for example, Big Bro's on a fitness journey. I'm not a fitness guru, but there are people who are. So I will listen to their content. I will accumulate the knowledge, and then I'll put it into practice. The same thing comes with spirituality. Same thing comes with business, entrepreneurship, music. There are people who are experts in all of these lanes. And so if you are an intelligent person, you will learn. right? You will listen, you will gain information, and you will learn how to put it into practice. And this will help you to go forward in this new path. I will say if you're going to receive this wealth and become rich, you have to grow where you plant it. You have to be willing to be consistent or faithful with little. In consistency, what you have, and being consistent with that, faithful, a good steward, that can lead to you in having an increase in the future. So you have to grow where you're planted. You have to align yourself with the will of the Most High. If you are in alignment with the Creator, He has the ability to release the resources to you. So you have to align yourself with God through prayer, meditation, learning God's Word, living it, treating people right. This can be helpful in you going forward. And a part of God's will is to sometimes present solutions to major problems in our society, right? That's wealth. When there are issues, and I tell you right now, there are a lot of problems in this world. So if you have the wisdom to present a concrete solution to an issue in society, that's going to lead to your wealth. Oh, trust me, problem solvers normally end up being wealthy. So if you look at our world right now, and there's something that really bothers you, I have something in my life that really bothers me. And I'm not going to show you what it is. This is separate from YouTube. And when you see that and you think to yourself, how does no one else see this? And the reason you think that way is because God Himself has put that on you to do something about it. And if you allow fear, I'm talking to you now, doubt in yourself, laziness to get in the way, it will never happen. And you always live a life of what you could have been. But if you see an issue in this world, and as we all know, there are a lot of them, and it really bothers you and you think you have a solution, or not think, you do, you're going to have enough courage to pursue that. We don't put some skin in the game now. We're not talking, this is not a fantasy talk. You know Big Bro don't do fantasy talk. Are you going to invest 3 to 5 years into this, my boy, sis? No, we're talking serious. If you see an issue and you want to really get on your grind and figure it out, because it's going to take some time. And I throw that out there, that 3 to 5 year window, because it may take you that amount of time to figure it out. And once you do and it works, the people are right there waiting. People are always going to follow something that's working. That's just the way the world works. So align yourself with the will of the Most High. That's what it means to have those gates open. And the gate speaks of continual incoming, that treasure, the wealth, the influence from princes, kings, and queens, people who believe in what you're doing. We close those gates with doubt. Let me close my eyes, speak from my spirit. We close those gates with fear, false evidence appearing real. I'm speaking straight from the heart, no notes. We close those gates with insecurity. So we have to become secure in these last days. We close those gates when we limit or we doubt the reality of the spirit realm. Because everything begins in the spirit realm first. Before it happens in the natural, it happens up there first. So all of this is about opening those gates up to bring in that blessed influence. Now, I'm sure if you're listening this far in the video, I want to really save this for this point. If you are wondering what I mean by gates, I'm going to actually read one verse for you from the book of Isaiah. And Isaiah the prophet says in chapter 60, "In my favor I have had mercy on you. Therefore your gates shall be open continually." That's the word for you. That's the word you're waiting for if you're waiting. That's your word, waiting on one. "They shall not be shut day or night, that men," so this speaks of connections. I keep telling y'all about connections. Y'all don't want to hear that. You want to be a lone ranger. I keep on telling you all, listen to your big brother, about connection. "They shall not be shut day or night, that men may bring you the wealth of the Gentiles in their kings in their procession." Let's do some work. Keep those gates open. The gate speaks of connection, whether it be social media, phone calls, travel, working somewhere, getting things done. Like even me talking to you guys on this phone, this is a gate. This is an opportunity. I'm right here in the basement of my house talking to people all over Earth. That's a huge opportunity that I wouldn't have if it wasn't for this YouTube platform. So I can literally, from the comfort of my home, get on this phone, this camera, this mic, and talk to my audience. That's great. This is a gate. And this is just one example of this. You get my point. You got to find some gates in your own life where there's a continual transfer of information, wealth, influence, guidance. You draw, and that will over time lead to the increase in your wealth. So let's break this down and finish this with 4 solid ways this happens. You have to listen this far to get this piece. We're going to give you 4 solid ways you can become wealthy. Number 1, there is a supernatural transfer of wealth. I have went to this in detail over on my TikTok account. Go check that video out. A lot of people like that and enjoyed that message. And this comes by way of a generous contribution from a family member, from a friend, from a business partner. This is how people go forward. There is someone who believes in your vision. And so begin to really pray for that, build that connection. This happened with the ancient Hebrews when they left Egypt. They left with the wealth of the Egyptians on their way out the door. And the reason they got that wealth is because the man of God had the courage to confront a corrupt system. So once again, we're pointing back to wealth at times coming from presenting solutions to real problems in society, not fantasy. No one wants to hear fantasy talk. And we're not talking about college degree. College degrees are fine. I have a couple of them. There is some value to that. There is some social capital to have a degree. There is a level of cultural capital. You know, there's a level of respect people have for you when they know you have a piece of paper behind your name. So I won't sit here and diminish that. And it's a lot of hard work. But you know where I'm going with this. That won't make you wealthy. That can help. That can open doors. That can be a key. You know, we're talking about wealth. We're talking about keys to different doors. So sometimes that was a key for me. I can't sit in and cap with you. That opened a lot of doors for me. I was able to meet a lot of people. I was able to make some wealth because of that. A lot of connections. And, you know, I was able to really meet some very important people in my life because of that schooling. So that was a key to open some doors. But where I'm trying to go now, that won't help me, if that makes sense. You all draw? Are you following me on this one? Am I making sense? Big bro pulling up today. This is a banger. Let me know. Say big bro, this is a banger today. So that is helpful. That's one key. But where we're trying to go, it's going to require somebody getting behind you. There's somebody who got the bag that has enough to give to you, not just give you a handout, but to really push what you got going on. And that's something that can be one way of getting this wealth. And that is a supernatural transfer when God touches somebody to really bless you. And you can't minimize that. Number 2, and this one's on you. But it comes from God. The God in Deuteronomy says he is the one who gives you the power to make wealth, right? So this speaks of an ability. So some of you athletes, that ability came from the Most High. He gave you that supernatural ability, or to be that good to get to the league, you know what I mean, to become known. And so this is an open door for you through sports, through entrepreneurship. You're going to come up with some new idea. Someone like Nikola Tesla, he came up with some innovative stuff. You know what I mean? Steve Jobs. So some of you who listen to this, you're going to create something that hasn't been done yet. And that is naturally going to bring you a lot of wealth and influence, but it's going to come, if we know from anybody else who's made it this far, it's going to come through years of hard work. It's going to come through years of not necessarily being recognized at first. Some of your ideas will be stolen. That's what happened with Nikola Tesla. A lot of his ideas were stolen. People were hating on him, blocking what he had going on. And you're going to go through some of that. And so the second way this is going to come to you, it's going to come to you because you have a great ability in something. Not fantasy talk, not sitting around playing a mystery. Oh, I'm going to just manifest this million. No, you really got something. You are really good at something. And this is going to come as the result of hours of work. So that goes back to that work. Now, I know it sounds like a contradiction because I said earlier, okay, it ain't always about hard work. On one hand, that is true because you can work hard. You can work somewhere 10 hours a day for years, not have much of anything, but enough to survive. This happened even during the agricultural era when people would work on wealthy landlords' property. That's where they came from. They would own the land. They had these poor farmers who would be there working. They gave them a list. They gave them a little something to survive, and they had all the money. They had all the land. So they were working hard and never really, they would die practically poor. So yes, on one hand, working hard is not always the solution, but with this particular point, yes, you're going to have to work hard at something to get there, whether it be sports, music, acting, entrepreneurship, business, speaking, doctor, lawyer, you follow me, real estate, any of those type of lanes, you're going to have to grind, you know what I mean, and really distinguish yourself from everybody else. I talked about this one already a little bit, but I'll touch on it again. Social entrepreneurship. This is an individual who presents a real solution to problems in society. And when you can do that, people are going to follow you, whether that be from a religious perspective, whether that be from counseling, something like that, mentorship, life coach, politician, leader in a church, leader of a mosque. You are someone who people can look to for life answers. And when you're that guy, you're that lady, that brings you wealth because you're definitely in alignment now with the Creator Himself. When you are on that type of lane, you are in alignment with God, and you are literally one of His agents on the earth. Just as the devil and demons have agents, God has agents too. And so, when you are someone who is a person who presents real solutions to society problems and help people, then that is definitely something going to bring you wealth. So many people out here to hurt people, but if you are actually here to help others, that's going to definitely bless you. And number 4, the wealth can come when you have a wealthy convert. A good example of this would be with the Nation of Islam when they had Muhammad Ali, and he had wealth. And of course, his wealth came from boxing, aka his skill, that ability that he was really good at from years of practice. And he was willing to share some of his wealth with his religious leaders. And that's something that can be helpful for you. So if you are an individual, whoever you may be, not just religion, but you just have influence over a wealthy person and they bless you, this can be helpful in your pursuit of wealth. I know a apostle who had a pretty wealthy convert. And after years of being under his working ministry, he came back years later, gave him a check for $100,000 cash. Just, you know what, man, you bless me, man. Here you go. No, that's just something for you. You know what I mean? So sometimes what you do now may come back to you 5-10 years from now. You know what I mean? And so you never, in other words, what am I saying now? You never really know when you're doing the right thing who you have an influence over. And that's something that's real. That's just real talk. So guys, ladies, this is just a few ways I believe you can become rich. I hope this was of help to you. Leave a comment below. This is your big brother, King Jabez. Thanks for listening. God bless. Peace.